And first up, Dustin Trani.
We're mic'd up. Thank you. All right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 4th annual Sustainable Seafood event here. You know, this is a beautiful new location, having it down here in right in the heart of the harbor, right? Before a little bit over further. But thank you again for being here. First off, I want to introduce my father, which is going to be my fishmonger here, because talking and sharp knives and filleting, anybody that's worked with fish, you know, you got to keep your head down. You start answering questions, you might lose a finger. So he's going to come on up here. This is my dad, Jim Trani. Give him a round of applause. So what we have here for you today, this is, yeah, you can cut it. Go ahead, cut it. So this is an amberjack or kingfish. That's what they call it. It's a type of jack family, completely sustainable. This one's coming out of Australia and farmed. Hold on 1 second. If you roll it over here, you'll see the tag that says it all. Like has a little barcode on it. Exactly everything where it came from. Gorgeous fish. Hold on. A little ice. So this comes down. So breaking down a fish, I don't know if a lot of people have done this before, but it's kind of a soothing process, to be honest with you. You kind of work in there, you follow the back of the spine there, take your fillet knife, just let the knife do the work, use a sharp knife, rounded edge works great. That knife's about as old as the restaurant, which, you know, yeah. So that, again, I'm coming from Jay Trani's restaurant, I'm a 4th generation chef there. We're on 9th Street. I don't know if a lot of people or many of you have been there before. Okay, good. Yeah, you heard of it. We just celebrate, this last summer will be our 92nd anniversary of being in San Pedro, so a little bit before my time. And we kind of do California-style cuisine. We're Italian-based, but I also worked in Thailand as well as Singapore and a little bit of Kowloon. And so you'll see a lot of those influences on the menu. But we are very, very dominant when it comes to fish. So we're fish first on most things. We do have some nice steaks and stuff on the menu, but our passion is seafood. So here, just like that, removed it. Yeah, you can set that there. Thank you. So when you have your 2 parts here to the fillet. You have your top loin and your belly loin. For sashimi, whatever you want to do, you pick your choice, either one. So what I'm going to do first here is just run the knife right down the center on the bone line and separate the 2 halves. I prefer the belly. It's up to you, your preference, so let's go with that first. And then you're going to kind of just find your bones along the stomach here. Just slowly let the knife do the work. Saving as much meat as possible. And then being privileged, this is very, very similar fish to our local yellowtail, which is just kind of on its way out of season, which I'm sure anybody locally that fishes around here on a great day, you'll pick them up. Clean it again. And so what I'm going to do with this fish is a very, very classic preparation, ceviche. Ceviche has got, with the height of poke bowls and everything that's been around, ceviche's got a lot of notoriety as well. And there's so many different varieties of ceviche. I'm going to do a Peruvian style, which is super classic, 5 ingredients. All it is lime, black pepper, some really good sea salt, a little red onion, and it's just a process of mixing those ingredients together that makes it a really, really tasteful dish. And when you're using such a pristine, fresh product like this, you want to let the fish speak for itself and not have to do a lot to it. A little more here, clean the skin off. And with the amberjack, as opposed to a Japanese hamachi, you're going to notice there's a little bit more texture to it. You save the collars? Yeah, the collar's the best part, man. I think somebody's barbecuing around here, right? Throw it on something. Yeah, so the collar will be this piece right, as you can see, right behind the gill line. And that is like the filet mignon of the fish. So that right there is what you're gonna roast it in the oven, a little bit of miso. It's become very popular on a lot of seafood restaurant menus. And it just has this buttery texture, almost like the belly, a belly portion of the fish that leads up into the neck cavity. So now that I have this fish broken like this, I'm gonna go one more time, take the belly off. So now I have my belly section. Who wants to call it, or are you gonna throw it out and let somebody catch it? Yeah, put it right there. Yeah, I mean, like that's. I haven't eaten lunch today, so get something. Yeah. Okay. So now you get your Excalibur or your sushi knife if you have one, and I'm gonna do just long bias cuts on this here. So here's the belly. You're gonna follow the grain, so you want to cross grain. That way, it's just like when you're cutting your steak. You want to cut against the grain. You cut with the grain, you're gonna have a tough piece. So it's all in the preparation. So here I'm just gonna do long slivers of the fish, the belly, which is gonna be real buttery. And like I was saying, this texture of this fish is gonna have a little bit more cartilagey, a little more bite to it, which I find really, really intriguing. Because when you take a bite of it, you're gonna chew once, and you're gonna feel like a little bit of a firmness. But then once you start to chew, you just get the sweetness that comes through on the fish. And it's really, really unique. You can clean up, you want to clean up that fillet, take the skin off. There you go, there's another knife. We got enough knives. So we're gonna keep ripping this down like that. And this is something that you could do at home. And then one of the main ingredients to this dish is the limes. Lime and salt balance. So again, here we go. Flay's going like this. Come back down this way. Because if you're not using fresh limes, or I should say ripe limes, you're gonna have a totally different outcome. You can almost have like a real overly tart, underripe lime. So it's really important in this dish that you're gonna be using fresh, ripe limes. So, being here in San Pedro, everybody and their mother has a citrus tree. So if you don't want to go to the store and get one of those limes that look like a plastic green golf ball, just walk down the street in San Pedro and I'm sure you'll be able to pull one off a tree. Don't quote me on that. Don't come to me and say, hey man, some guy shot at me for taking one of his limes. Because this is San Pedro. Those of you know. So again, those are like our sushi cuts. It is not me, it's the knife. So we're just gonna keep ripping this down. Kind of preparing a large portion right now. Obviously, you wouldn't be doing this much for you and your date. But here, again, this being a Peruvian style, it's just gonna be sliced and then quickly dressed with all the lime, citrus, and everything, and then served, as opposed to different ceviches where you might let it marinate with lime juice and let the acid itself cook the fish. This is just gonna basically set the flesh on the outside. So when you're doing that, you're gonna have this real unique kind of like mouthfeel where the outside of the fish is just gonna be slightly cooked, and the inside will be like sashimi, raw fish. What? Yeah, we can hand it out. We'll do something. I mean, people come up and get your own fish, right? As I'm doing this right now, do we have any questions so far? This one has tracking barcodes on it. So this one came in, I didn't look this one up myself, but it came in yesterday morning. And it was when it has, you can follow the barcode. It's scanned or look it up on a computer, and it'll tell you when it was pulled from the farm, when it was pulled from the pond, and when it, when it's processed. This is a farm product, yeah, from Australia. This is completely sustainable, and there's a lot of, misinformed information on farm products because there is a lot of quality farming being done. This one is probably about 4 days out of the water. Depending when it's caught, pulled, packaged, blown out to our distributor, which we go through Superior Seafood, and a lot of our products brought down here. Oh yeah. Yeah, you get your bloodline, you clean bloodline, you look at the gill, you look at the eyes of the fish, you can see how it was handled, how it was processed. Because sometimes if it's pulled from the water and it's not bled properly, they just say it's kind of morbid, but it's true. You'll see it in the quality of the fish. It'll be hazy, you'll see vein lines in it, and that's when it was mishandled upon pulling out of the water. So there's not so much, along with just as important as raising the fish, and what it's feeding on and what the conditions are, it's very important how the fish is processed. I don't know exactly of the feed. You have to talk to someone more on the yeah, give me the belly. I'll take it. Someone more on the fishmonger side that runs they'll can tell you exactly what the feed is. And like I said, it's getting to a point now where you have these tags on there that give you so much information, and you can follow that fish, from where it came from. And it's the technology that we're living in now. Over there.
I know there's wireless mics.
Okay. I think we got enough fish.
But nobody's using them.
So hold this. If you want to thin slice that, switch knives to me. Throw. Yeah, you want it as soon as it's out of the water, the soonest you want it. And that's a lot of the benefit of being in San Pedro here with our family and what we've known in this town for so long. We have the opportunity to go right down to the fish markets, and you're getting first pick off the boats, and it doesn't get any better than that. We have friends that sustainably catch the white sea bass and stuff like that, like small boutique fisheries that go out and they bring fish that you're talking 8 hours out of the water that we get at the restaurant. And when you have something like that, there's no comparison to anything else, because you just look at the clarity of the flesh of the fish. It's the sweetness of it. There's no murkiness, and it's just, once you try that, it's kind of like driving a Ferrari and like getting it in your VW after. And it's kind of one of those things that just. All right. So yeah, okay. Moving forward on the ceviche. Fish is here. We're gonna take just some red onion. We're gonna split it, and then we're gonna do a thin slice on it. But when you're doing this, the center of the red onion is going to be the sweetest. So that part right there, you save this for something else, whether you're doing it in a salad or something else on the side. You never waste anything. So like this all here would be roasted, and we'll eat it ourselves, or you can pull it off and make a bruschetta with it, roast the bones and all that meat in between, scrape it with a spoon, and you make tartare with it. It's just nothing gets thrown away. So now we have the center of the onion. I'm gonna do a quick, super fine, because you're not gonna want a lot of flavor coming from the onion, because you cut it super thin so the lime will neutralize it and not make it as strong. That's too thick. There we go. That goes in, and you'll see how quick this dish comes together. Traditionally in Peru, doing this dish, they'll use a lot of fluke, a flatfish, flounder. It works just as well with anything. Tuna, I've used it before that. The tuna will start to cook, it'll set. It's one of those things you gotta eat really quick. We've done a version like a Thai style one with tuna, with a ginger lime vinaigrette, like a fermented lime with fish sauce, and it comes out really nutty, unique flavor. I was gonna do that today, but I was figuring that you just want something clean and pure to taste it itself. So again, 5 ingredients in this. We have our fish, our center of the onion, and now generous with black pepper. And then the next key is going to be balancing the lime and salt. So those will be our last 2 ingredients. I have a few other things I'm going to throw on there just because, you got to be a little fancy, There is a microgreen involved. Yeah. Okay. So again, limes, something that little yellowish, you see that? You're gonna pick those, because once you do this, once you add your lime, the dish is ready to serve, and that's when you're gonna want to go straight to the plate, however you want to eat it. No. It's all right. Like I said, this is going to be finding your balance of the lime and salt. And you're just going to use a real nice sea salt. One more. What kind of sea salt? Himalayan. Use like a Himalayan salt, depending. Yeah, so it's, or use a Mediterranean. I've been using, my brother came back from a trip from Sayulitas in Mexico and brought back some amazing salts. And I've been using a lot of that lately. We have that, and also we use a little bit of black salt, which is like a lava rock salt. That's like a, you'd use that to finish a dish so much. Yeah, it's kind of cool, you know. Yeah. Salt on there. Now we're just going to simply dress it. And then a few things that I'm going to add to this dish, just to kind of make it my own. We have toasted cashew with a little extra virgin olive oil, chili oil, and a little petite oregano. So you'll see when you try the dish, it's going to give it more rounded. You'll be able to taste the fish how it's intended to be. Real simple, proving. Yeah, you can start laying out the plates right here. So you'll be able to taste the fish how it's intended to be, and then you'll get a little bit of something extra. The nuttiness, the toasted cashew is something really brings it, kind of rounds the flavor. And plus it gives you a little texture, which when I worked in Thailand, we get a lot. You want to play with all your senses when you're composing a dish. So whether it be a Thai dish, Asian dish, Italian dish, you want to have texture, sweetness, softness, subtles in every dish that you create. Because then, if you can touch on all senses, then somebody's going to find something they like about that dish.
Dustin, you keep talking about senses and things. How do you get that feel for including all those senses? I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I would know how to do it myself.
Well, you start cooking in the kitchen when you're 5 years old, and then
I kind of thought that was going to be his answer.
No, it does come with time and finesse. If you cook at home, you enjoy food, you start trying things, you'll start to understand what goes with what. And then you're going to try something, you're like, wow, that's not good. That doesn't go with that. And but as you keep experiencing more flavors, more tastes, you'll start to understand those kind of what goes with what. And that's how you get that kind of senses, I guess you could say.
That's very much like science, by the way.
Metaphor.
We try new things and we make observations and then we try them again and make observations. So I guess the learning lesson here is that you need to just keep trying things and see what works. But having someone like you and your dad, Jim, that have so much experience to be able to share with us, that's a big help. By the way, we have a couple of our volunteers. Come on up, ladies, please, that are going to be bringing the plates around to you. Anybody that wants one, just kind of give our volunteers a heads up. They're going to put them on these plates right here as soon as they're ready.
You want to use it?
And I think you're all in for a treat. By the way, these two young ladies were part of our junior docent program this year. I asked them why they look so much alike. So they'll be happy to come around right now. We're very proud of our junior volunteers, and they've come today to be part of the day and to help out. So that's what they're doing today.
So again, composing the dish here. See, now you're like in the crunch time, like in the dinner rush. You're like, hurry up, get it out. People are staring at you and they're hungry. Well, the first group of the day, give me all the hungry people. Hasn't eaten anything yet. Morning coffee's wearing off. So here's again a little oregano, toasted cashew. Keep doing more plates. So to finish, a little more lime and that chili oil. Like I said, that will kind of just give you a little rounded. Yeah, throw some green on there. Okay, this first round can go out. We'll start. So like I said, this is our Peruvian style ceviche with a little bit, a little something different to it. Are we good on time? That's all right. That could be yours. And again, as you try this fish, you'll see the texture of it and the crunch almost to it. Thank you. And you saw how simple it was. Anybody could do that. Any more questions right now about the process or anything else I can try to answer?
Mike right here for you if you'd like one. Mike has a mic.
What about you?
Who's Mike?
No, go get a question. They got them.
Yes.
Yes.
So often I think of sustainable as being synonymous with local, and you say this fish is from halfway around the world,
Exactly.
Australia. How do you consider it sustainable still?
Sustainable is the process that it's not depleting our oceans and the farming or the fishing of the actual fish itself. So that's what makes it sustainable, is either how they are fishing it, you know, whether it be local, small boutique, they're not using gill nets, using long lines, and it's all the process of bringing the fish in. This is extremely sustainable because it's a controlled farm where they're not going out and depleting the ocean supply. That's why I guess halfway across the world, it is an extremely sustainable product. Issue? Everybody taste the cashews on there? Kind of adds a little bit more to it. Like I said, you get the clean fish. Man, this is the hardest you worked in a long time, huh? Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm not big. Yeah, I know. You get what you pay for, right? All right, here you go. Okay. We gotta get everybody do another round. Any more questions on the fish or preparation or how else we can? I mean, this fish could be done grilled. You can saute it. I mean, yeah, exactly. If you get a fresh out of the ocean like that. Some things are just too good to mess with. So,
Then on the fish itself, we saw a whole fish. How many people would something like that feed in a normal dinner type setting?
well, I mean, if you're doing a ceviche like this, you do that. That would feed a crowd of easily 15 to 20 people. If you're doing a small bite, appetizer, hors d'oeuvre style, you know, you break it down. The ratio of what's the yield when you break down the meat to whole fish to actual meat? 70%? 60, 65%. So if you have a whole fish, you're going to yield about 65% servable meat out of it. But then using the whole fish itself for other applications, like I said, scraping the bones to take all the little bits and meats off for making a tartare, or also roasting the bones itself and making like almost like a tuna salad out of it, just kind of, or even poaching it. I wouldn't recommend making a stock out of this fish, you know, because that would be kind of a little strong. Some people have flavors profile for that, but this fish itself would not make it would make a really strong bouillabaisse, you could say. But I would use more of a rock cod, a rock fish. Those are the ones that traditionally make a better, you know, cleaner stock.
I know your particular presentation was with ceviche. What
good.
if this were going to be like a main dish type thing? And so if I go to the store and I'm looking to serve 8 people, is there kind of a poundage or some kind of a quantity that you
Recommend, like, for a
think
serving
seems
size?
to work? A serving size?
Standard serving size would be probably about anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces, and that's usually what we do at the restaurant. So an entree portion would be 8 ounces, a steak. So on something like this, we either sear it and do it like sashimi style, or you cut a large bias cut. I could show you. If you have your fillet here, you're going to find your lines there, and you're going to cut on a hard angle like this, and then back again on a hard angle like this. Now you have a nice little 6-7 ounce steak. So by doing this, you season up. You could do it Milanese style. Milanese is Northern Italian, very traditional with a veal chop. But we use that application on one of our swordfish. So we take the swordfish, a little bit of garlic, olive oil, and parsley, marinate it, press it in a breadcrumb, and then grill it off. So it has this nice crust on it. And then this fish itself would work great for that. You cook it just medium rare, just to the center sets. Because this fish is a very lean fish. In the belly area, you're gonna have a little bit more fat, but the loin itself is gonna be very lean. So if you cook it more, yeah, sure. if you cook it more, then you're gonna have, it'll tend to dry out. You know, and that's just traditionally how the fish is. So every fish has a separate application that will accent the fish's potential, and it's at its best. So some fishes you don't want, like monkfish, I don't recommend eating sashimi out of that. You know, this fish is a sashimi fish.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna get some. So we're encouraging people to ask questions when they go to their favorite restaurant or when they go to their grocery store. We realize you have a lot more experience in this, but what kind of questions do you ask fish purveyors that you get your fish from?
I mean, common or most good thing is we've kind of been dealing with our fishmongers for over 50 years, you know, so we kind of have the insight on it. So the kind of questions you want to ask are freshness, where's it coming from, and then understand the fish yourself. Research what fresh fish should look like, so then you can be the judge of what the fish is and how the quality is, and if it's standing up to what you like. Yeah. Good.
Any other questions from the audience? Now's a good time.
Oh, that's good. I think we have.
What's the difference between yellowtail and this?
It's not much difference at all. Yellowtail they're all part of the jack family, you know, which runs all the way down to mackerel. You got hamachi. Hamachi is the Japanese version of yellowtail. So it's basically yellowtail's local here, and they all have different names. You can see the fish look very similar to a yellowtail, but they're all just different species from where they're coming from. So this is called a kingfish because it comes from Australia. If it was coming from locally, it would be more of an amberjack. Coming from Hawaii is a kampachi. Kampachi is like, you know, another type of fish that is all similar. So they're all pretty similar in their flavors, but then you'll see this one. I've noticed the biggest difference is the texture, you know, where it has a little bit more firmness to the flesh itself, and it's actually very well priced. It's not like some of the hamachis and kampachis have gotten upwards to, on a wholesaler's price range, you're looking at $21 a pound. So that can be very, very pricey. This fish itself has come down to about half that. So then it's more affordable. And a lot of sushi restaurants are going more to the amberjack, and it's gotten very popular in the last 8 years, I'd say. So yeah, all pretty much similar. They're cousins.
We have another question here.
I don't think I've ever seen amberjack.
Yeah, it's
Is it named something else locally, or I mean, am I going to look for amberjack?
locally it would be called amblejack, but they don't. It's not caught around here. There has been some catch up northern, up I want to say up in Oregon. There was catching some at some time, but it's not a local fish. And like I said, it's been really getting with the rise of hamachi and the Japanese kampachi and the Hawaiian stuff it's also farm raised. This has become more popular, especially in the restaurant scene and sushi scene.
And you know, that's one of the things with aquaculture. I think some of you may have been from the generation I am, where aquaculture we always kind of shied away from because we were told that it wasn't clean and it wasn't environmentally the right choice. But you know, in this country, because we've made those choices, all of us, we're starting to see that people are saying, look, if we met the criteria of making it truly more sustainable, then people will buy it.
Absolutely.
And I, for one, am willing to pay a little bit more if I can be shown that what they're doing is going to make a difference. If we get more people to make those decisions, folks, then we're going to have it more sustainable. And it's going to start touching all the things that we talk about with sustainability. Not only how the fish is raised, but where it comes from, how long it takes to get there. All these issues are important. But we don't start there. If you try to start there, you're going to probably fail. You need to start at saying, ask the question. How many people even know to ask the question? And then when you start asking the question, people that are selling the fish, whether it's at a restaurant or whether it's at a grocery store, they're going to listen to you because they want you back buying product. So that's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons of today, is trying to get people to ask the question.
Yeah.
And then as we continue, and as aquaculture becomes cleaner and cleaner, especially in this country, it's doing much better. then you start making good choices, and you know where it's available. You can get it almost year round. That's another advantage to having something that's aquacultured. You don't have to worry about the season coming in. It's available now at that farm.
Absolutely.
So these are all issues that as it becomes a bigger and bigger deal in this country, it is indeed something that we can make a difference. Any other questions? Any other comments?
Just look forward to next year, huh?
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you all
you
very
so
much.
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, it's so great to start our chef demos with an iconic restaurant here in San Pedro, Trani. So it's great to have them here today. And thank you for coming today, everyone. We're going to be having our next chef demo fairly soon. Enjoy the day. Please go talk to our vendors and our purveyors today.